we can have conversations about like sports, like what were you saying, bowling and bocce ball, and certain sports that aren't like physically contact sports that are more skill-based sports. We can have those conversations. Those are the nuanced conversations that we should be having. But when you're talking about hand-to-hand combat, I remember one of the people that Fallon Fox fought, she said she's never been hit that hard by a woman. Welcome to the channel today, everybody. So today I got Arielle, who we are reacting to the latest news in transgender sports. MMA fighter Alana McLaughlin winning her debut. But before I get started, make sure you click that like and subscribe button below. It really helps out the channel. Yeah, so trans MMA fighter Alana McLaughlin wins debut fight after surviving early scare and chokeout. So she won in the second round of her debut fight as a 38-year-old trans woman who is a former Army Special Forces veteran. So
how old is the average MMA fighter to be a woman? Like how old is the average MMA women fighter?
So the average, it is 31 years old.
And how old is this person? This
38.
See, even that even says a lot to me. Like, I feel like, I mean, it depends on obviously when somebody transitions, right? How long have they been inhibiting a testosterone-driven body? No, it really does it makes all the difference, right?
Yeah, so we know that if a trans person has never, like, if they never went through male puberty, there is no advantage. Right. But we also know that there's no data to show, like, what the ratio is for how long somebody went through male puberty to how long they need to be on hormones to erase that advantage. Like, and this is mostly what we deal with when you're looking at like trans kids, like high school sports and stuff like that. Because when you have like a person that went through a year of male puberty and then they go on female hormones
for 2 years, did it erase that 1 year? Like,
exactly.
They haven't figured that out yet.
But this is what we're seeing because we know that Laurel Hubbard, who was the Olympian,
New Zealand weightlifting, did she win? She didn't win.
No, she actually, I mean, she failed miserably, but we can't look at that as a fail for, like, against trans athletes, right? I mean, you have to see the whole body of work because she was the oldest ever competitive weightlifter in the women's category. When she first started, before she even transitioned, in the male category, she would have been like 32 kilograms shy of even taking last place in this Olympics right now with what she would have done when she was a male athlete and everything like that. She was a elite athlete, but not at the age of 42. That's unheard of. I mean, and so what you're seeing is you see somebody that's 38 years old and the average is 31. And the same with like somebody like Laurel Hubbard where she's like, what, 42?
It's much more rare to see someone that's a woman stay in professional sports until their 40s, right?
Yeah.
It's fairly common to see people that are men in their 40s. There's a few hockey players that are still professional hockey players, professional soccer players, professional baseball players playing into their 40s. Yep. So, again, testosterone makes all the difference. It really does, people. It makes
a whole lot of difference. I mean, I've been on hormones for just over 2.5 years where I should have no advantage, right? And I know for a fact, like I've been doing spin class for a year. My power numbers in spin class would put me in the 80th percentile among all cyclists.
Wow.
Yeah.
Among all women or among?
Among women.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but it would put me on like the 35th percentile among men.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That's what she looks like?
Yes,
that's her.
That is her. No, in this picture, you can obviously tell male form. Look at her arms.
Wait, look at her shirt.
Fucking huge.
And trans genocide.
She says that.
We know who she voted for. All right, now.
So she said that she wants to be the next Fallon Fox. Again, but she's older than I think Fallon Fox was when she started fighting. She started fighting a year ago. Again, she's a former Army Special Forces, which means she has hand-to-hand combat training, formal training through the military. And she started training to fight a year ago, and she's already fighting professionally. that again just doesn't seem right. It seems like somebody that was like, oh, hey, I can go fight. I already have some of these skills. I can go fight. I can step in a ring.
That doesn't happen.
No.
When you're a biological woman, that doesn't happen. You have to train for, like, people have been training for years.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people were getting on Laurel Hubbard, whatever the hell her name is, because, oh, well, she didn't win, though. She didn't win. Yeah, but she took a biological woman's place in the Olympics who also had been training for years.
Yeah.
That's more the argument than, oh, trans women aren't going to win everything. It's, yeah, but you're taking the spot of someone that's been training their whole lives, potentially. And you've been training 2-3 years, and because you have an advantage, you're taking their place. That's a lot of feminists are fighting, you know, for that issue as well.
And they, as they should be. Like, we can have conversations about, like, sports like what were you saying, bowling and bocce ball, and certain sports that aren't like physically contact sports that are more skill-based sports. We can have those conversations. Those are the nuanced conversations that we should be having. But when you're talking about hand-to-hand combat, I remember one of the people that Fallon Fox fought. So Fallon Fox broke her orbital bone, and she broke her skull, and she said she's never been hit that hard by a woman. It just, and it makes sense because stronger bones, stronger hands, bigger hands, just stronger in general. And it doesn't matter weight, size, anything like that. You still hit harder. Your muscles are more condensed and they're more defined because of testosterone. Testosterone builds that.
Yeah. Who would have thought a trans woman and a lesbian are criticizing women, criticizing other, and it's not even like most trans women that we know agree with us.
Yes.
It's the crazy leftists and the non-binary people and the queer people that aren't even gay or bi or whatever the hell, and the white liberal women who think that they're saviors that are having issues with us, speaking out against this bullshit. You know?
It is. It's very much the same crowd. And it's the people that they're not even doing, like, they're not athletic people either, which is kind of what's funny too. Like, they're the ones that...
You and I have been playing, you've been playing sports your whole life. I've been playing sports my whole life. I was 14 years old and I had to stop playing roller hockey because I knew the boys were already bigger than me. Yeah. When the boys hit puberty, it became dangerous. And I knew I had to stop playing. And I've been playing for 6 years. That was my first sport at 9 years old. I played hockey. And it was a contact sport. It was full contact back then. Now everybody gets sued. But in the 90s, we weren't pussies. And it was a full contact hitting. Like, I got hurt. Like, I have a hernia because of this, because that's to this day. Like, somebody hit me right in my chest and I got hurt.
When the women's national soccer team loses to a high school boys soccer team, you know that, I mean, there is a huge difference in men and women. And now even, you know, the latest data says 2 years or more. They don't have the full data. It says 2 years or more. So, I mean, Laurel Hubbard was on for like was up for like 20 years, and she's still doing the same amount of weight as she was doing years ago. She might have
more testosterone than the average male person, though. Like, how could you know? Like, there's a lot that it's very specific. It's a very specific
and where the
person thing.
Yeah, where this starts to hurt women too is now they are starting to look into not even. It doesn't matter what your gender is. So if you're a biological female, they're starting to talk about testing biological females' testosterone levels to make sure they're below certain points. So men can have testosterone levels through the roof because naturally, but women aren't allowed to have an advantage that they were born with. That's in terms of inclusion.
What if like a black person was a basketball player? It's super tall, super big hands. Like, are they going to now be like, well, he's got too big of hands, he can't play in the NBA?
Well, and this is where it's sexist though, is because it's not. They're not talking about regulating men's sports at all. No, it's only women that are suffering under this fate.
I didn't know that. That's a really good point too.
All right, again, thanks for joining me today in this video, Arielle.
Look, biological women and trans women coming together to fight the fight.
We got to fight the fight. We got to come together and fight the fight.
You know how I know that you are, in quote, a real woman because you are standing up for biological women?
Well, I'd appreciate that.
No, that's the truth. Because you feel for us, because you feel you're one of us. Mm-hmm. And in that way you are. Like, you don't want people taking advantage of us, all of us. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, because the crazies are like, and I'm like, you're not a fucking real woman, sorry. You're not even a trans woman. Like, you're not. No. You know what I'm talking about. Like Karen White and those fucking crazies.
Yeah, no, they're fucking nuts.
No, they don't give a shit about women.
No, they don't at all.
How could you be a woman if you don't even care about them?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes
does,
100% sense. Like, how do you? It makes absolutely no sense. But click that like and subscribe button below, and I will see you next time.